Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 3 at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. It's a potential prep for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 2 Beldame Stakes. We're going a 2-turn mile and an eighth. Mike, we only have 4 in here, and it's somewhat disappointing. I remember when the Beldame was a great race.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. These fall stakes races in New York have really taken a hit these last few years. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure why they carded this race. So we're going to go with 4. You have a 1-2 favorite in randomized, a 3-year-old. Listen, she's stepping up to face older horses, but hard to argue with this spot.
Well, randomized was 7-1 last time out when she gave her career best performance. That was in the Grade 1 Alabama, and the key to that was her speed. She went right to the lead in that race, and that could be key once again, because in this short field, it's a race that favors front runners, and randomized, if she breaks, is probably a little bit quicker than the one riding Pretty, who seems like more of a tactical middle-distance speedster.
It's hard to look at this race and not think that randomized is going to get clear on this field in the early stages, Dan. I mean, there's not really much other speed. We'll see how much they back it down with her. We'll see, how much the other, her 2 main rivals, we'll see how aggressive they get to try to keep her within range in this race. She certainly has a tactical advantage coming off the 2 best races of her life.
Riding Pretty, the number 1, is a little bit of an underrated New Jersey bred. She earned a graded stakes place in 2 starts back in the Monmouth Oaks against fellow 3-year-olds when no match for a Colt and Foggy Night, but they're pretty good fillies. They found a wonderful spot for her last time out. She was 1-20 against New Jersey breds, and this is how a 1-20 shot should win.
Yeah, exactly. Did exactly what she was supposed to do in this race. Listen, she caught a break when nobody decided to enter this race, Dan, but she still can't win.
Moray is in for Brad Cox. This guy, Moray, has always been okay. She won the Beholder Mile in 2023. Brad's shopped for spots with her ever since taking over for Todd Pletcher, and mostly it's worked out. The Locust Grove last time out, though, that was kind of a disappointing performance.
Yeah, it was first back off of a little bit of a layoff, and she really didn't fire her good shot that day. Again, that was a race, though, that was basically dominated towards the front. So maybe just, winding up away at the back of that field, maybe it really compromised her, Dan. You know that she's better than that. She certainly got really good when Brad Cox took over. I mean, she improved immediately, won 3 straight stakes races, including a Grade 1. And she can be forward, at least keep the favorite in range in this race, Dan. I mean, it's easy to make a case for her. And here, I can't say I'm her biggest fan, but I won't argue with this spot.
Fair to say that the 3 randomized had a very successful Saratoga campaign, and that Wilton Stakes, everything went right for her. She only had 3 other horses just like this race. Her stablemate didn't show up, and she wired the field. Here in the Alabama, though, she really was aggressive out of the gate. Joel Rosario took the race to them, and she's beating some decent horses in here, Mike, in Wet Paint and Defining Purpose. Her speed makes her dangerous in these sort of races.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give her credit for this race, in particular, Dan, the Alabama, for not only stretching all the way out and while moving up in class, but she traveled strongly throughout the running of this race. That being said, 3-year-old filly crop this year leaves a little something to be desired. She went to the lead in there. Defining Purpose and Wet Paint sat right behind her, second and third. They went 1, 2, 3 around the track. Nobody else did anything. She ran really well in there. She ran really well 2 starts back. She's in a great spot here. I still think there's plenty more that we need to find out about randomized, however.
Nostalgic is a proven commodity over course and distance. Remember, she won the Gazelle here, going a mile and an eighth as a 3-year-old filly. She did a lot of work at 3. It got a little bit of a late start for Nostalgic this year, and one wonders if she's racing herself back into her top form. Here's her most recent start. Now, this, remember, is only her 2nd start off a lengthy layoff. It's at a mile at Saratoga. She gets to the outside, and she just keeps on going. To me, more distance is what she wants.
I agree with you. And even as I say that, Dan, I feel like she's come back a lot better this year than even she was last year. And she was good last year. I think she's an improved horse as a 4-year-old. This is a really good performance, I think, going the mile. The stretching out around 2 turns, 9 furlongs, no problem for this horse. Listen, her running style, a little problematic in a race like this because she doesn't have a lot of early speed, but she's good. And I actually think 5-2 on the morning line, I think that's a very fair price.
And from a speed figure standpoint, she's not far away at all. I mean, she's 1-2 points away from randomized. She's got way more experience than randomized. And as you said, it's not like she's a total 1-run closer. She can stay, I think, relatively close if the pace is glacial up front. She's going to make this a horse race. As we take a look at our top picks for the Beldame. I just think Randomized is going to get to the lead in here and get the jump on Nostalgic, but I do think Nostalgic is going to make a run, and you're throwing the chalk out. I like it.
Yeah, I won't be surprised when Randomized, well, maybe I'll be a little surprised, but when Randomized wires this field down, I'm not sold on her yet. I much prefer Nostalgic in this race. 5-2, I'll take it.
You're going with Nostalgic probably because you remember the nostalgic days of yore when the Beldame was chock full of top filly and mares and full fields. You'll go Nostalgic. I'll go Randomized in the Beldame. Good luck.